Hello, welcome to another Black Horizons program. I'm your host, Hamid Rasheed. In today's program, we'll be talking about softball as we discuss the upcoming fourth annual Irvin Lucas Softball Tournament. I have joining me on the program Kevin Downey and Stephen Downey, who will be talking to me about the history behind the tournament, some of the activities involved in the tournament. But before we actually get to discussion of that, I want to first of all share this public service announcement with you. The Association of Black Social Workers, under their Opportunities for Black Women program, will be holding a workshop and seminar on black women and access to community services on August 31st at 7 p.m. at the Cobequid Multi-Service Center on Memory Lane in Lower Sackville. Individuals wishing more information about the workshop can contact Geraldine Clark, who is the coordinator of the Opportunities for Black Women program, at 466-3591, or drop by the Opportunities for Black Women program office at 56 Alderney Drive, Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Kevin and Stephen, welcome to the Black Horizons program. I wonder, Stephen, if I could ask you first to tell us how this is the fourth annual tournament.
Correct.
How did this baseball or softball tournament get started?
It's through the community. People went up to Commons. We played a lot of ball, just pick up teams. We decided at a time that there was a lot of black people playing at the time. Why don't we form some kind of tournament that we can all still be together, right? But try to make it more competitive. At this time, that's what we done. And we asked teams like Truro, not too far away because we didn't really know what track we were on. So then we informed Truro, and they wanted to come down and have a game. So it started pretty slight, like a 14 tournament. And then we just carried on from there.
Right. So it was started out in Metro Halifax first, and it was a Metro kind of tournament, wasn't it?
Originally, it was started by Perry Adams and Kenny Reddick. And that was the original team, and then we had our team brought in, and then the following year, I believe the tournament ended in a tie or something. And the following year, we made up the tournament again, and it was supposed to be passed on continuously. Well, the third year, the team that was supposed to take it folded. So our team, being the championship team from the previous year, decided to take over it again. And that's the way it's been since then. And we, after that, we changed it. Last year, I believe we changed the name of the tournament. Because there was quite a bit of bad publicity about all the teams, different sports they were using, all using the term black, and there was a lot of hostility in the air at the time.
So now, as I understand you, when it first got started, the first year, the idea was that the teams that were participating in the tournament would each take a turn organizing it. Is that it?
More or less, yeah.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, so that if Truro, for example, might host it one year, Halifax another year, and that kind of thing.
Right.
Well, now, Kevin, you mentioned that the name of the tournament has been changed. It's now called the Irvin Lucas Memorial Softball Tournament. How long ago did you decide to make that change? Was it just last year, you say?
Yeah, the change came about because of, as you know, previous year, during the winter months, I have a hockey tournament at Christmas. And right after that tournament, there was quite a bit of publicity about having the tournament called Black. People were phoning into CJCH Sports saying that we were being prejudiced, using it. White people have tournaments and they don't call a tournament white. So, and we decided, hey, the human rights, we had a meeting with the human rights, and then they started to come down a little bit. So we decided the year before that, the year of the tournament that we changed the name, that year we had the year before that we had previously called the tournament the Black Tournament. And we started acknowledging in one moment's silence for players that played years ago. And some good black ball players that came out of that league, Senior A League.
Yes.
And Stevie and Perry and us were thinking one day, and we said, let's call it the Irvin Lucas Memorial. So that's how we came about it, because Irvin Lucas at that time had been one of the top black ball players in Canada. And I believe at the one time, I'm not sure now, I think he played on a four-man ball team. But he was highly regarded, him and Billy Carter, might have been two of the top black ball players that played ball there. But at that time, we had chose Irvin Lucas because Irvin's son played ball with us and grew up within the community. And Mrs. Lucas, is a longtime member of the black community, the church and stuff. And that's what we did. And we presented her with the first ball, and she threw out the ball and whatever the first year. And this year, we're hoping to present her with a plaque in memory of Mr. Lucas.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, Stephen, you mentioned that when this first started off, it was kind of an ad-hoc kind of thing. It was, a bunch of fellows got together and so on. Since then, has there been any kind of committee or any kind of group of individuals that have sort of come together who have an ongoing responsibility for organizing the tournament?
Yeah, like the men people have mentioned, different things which should take place, but like what happens is these people are hard to locate when it's time to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So with the committee we have, which is Peary and Kevin, we decided to form something. We talked about it into the winter and knowing what we were going to do in the summertime over the tournament, right? And we went stretched out a little bit more now. We're going out like to Sydney. We've stretched to Windsor, not just Truro. We've tried to get a few teams from New Glasgow up. And, Glace Bay, which really thought it was something worthwhile coming up to play for. And which last year showed a big example where we had a tournament of about 10 teams, which 4 from out of town, which I think is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. We received this year a couple of calls from Montreal wanting to send a team down for next year, right? And so we've sent off some literature to them, letting them know about the tournament and whatever. The only thing that's happening right now is we're not sure if we're going to have the tournament next year our own selves. It's a possibility that maybe Africville or another team may take over the tournament next year. See how they may go, maybe they may. And we just hope that they still, whoever takes the tournament, that they still keep the same concept that we've laid down, That's what we're hoping.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, is the tournament solely for black teams, or are there other non-blacks who play in the tournament as well?
There are non-blacks.
Yeah, there are.
It is, we did regardless, more or less, too. We would love to have the community, which is, no one would be blacks, right? And but as the competition got better, as you know, what was happening, we were losing the pitching power, which a lot of teams felt that they couldn't carry themselves through the tournament because, we haven't got a pitcher. Now, it's sat down with people who really are not even noticed, but have talked with us and said, well, we should reach out and just maybe try switching the tournament up a little bit for a year and see what happens, which we done last year. That's when non-whites started to become in the tournaments. Which you're only
non-blacks.
Non-blacks, excuse me, yeah. Which you're only allowed 4.
So each team is restricted to 4.
Yeah, we call it like a non-black players or import, right? And how that came about, like the year before that, we had a team called the Beachville Rockets, and they had a couple of white players on their team at the time. And I could understand what they were saying. These guys play with them all year round, and right up to the end of the season in their league. And when it comes to the tournament time, they had to tell the guys, well, you can't play. They're no longer part of the team. And we lost a couple of teams, notably from New Glasgow, that would have came, but because they had one guy that lived in the community, and we tried to explain to them, there's no prejudice at all involved, but that's just the way the guys that had first started the tournament, that's the way they had wanted it. Well, then the tournament has become more competitive now, and like a lot of teams from the C League and D leagues, and even some of as far as the A leagues are coming in. They're watching it, and they're looking at some of the guys in that are playing in the tournament. And some of the guys are young, they still have a lot of ball hit of them that have never played organized ball, but they're still good ball players.
Well, now, what level would you say the caliber of play would you say the tournament is at? Is it you say it's highly competitive? Is that as among teams, or is the caliber of play pretty high? Would it be like a senior level or intermediate level, or?
I would honestly say it is a tough C and an intermediate B, because of
certain
caliber.
Teams,
certain teams. There are ball players. Well, like there's a lot of B ball players, which I play right now in the league. I play B, which is my caliber of ball, and they're all playing in the tournament. But they all switched up to different teams, but it helps to make the team stronger. But like I say, I would say a tough C and intermediate B.
Intermediate B, because we have what? You got about 10 teams in the tournament this year, and we've got about 6 good, real strong teams. There's going to be a lot of keen competition. Sure, notably you're going to have a few weak teams, and some of the younger kids coming in But a lot of it depends too on whereabouts you place in the draw when the draw is made. Like last year you had all the strong teams all in one division. So teams that were expected to win the championship or place, some of them didn't make it because they were in too strong a division, and you had them all bunched together where you had all the weaker teams and maybe one strong team in that weak team. So it's a lot of good ball. Like Stevie says, he plays B ball, and you have Manny Gross,
one of the top pitchers.
John Tolliver, Scotty Maxwell, their team, the Halifax All-Stars are definitely going to be a strong team to deal with, and it's going to be a lot of good competition, and we're looking forward to it.
Well, you referred earlier to the concept behind the tournament. Is it to be highly competitive, or is it for the social, recreational aspects of it, or is it a combination of both in terms of the tournament?
I believe it's a combination of both. It wasn't in the beginning, but like anything, as each year goes along, the sport gets better, and the more people get involved, the more competitive it becomes. And now it's becoming very, very, very competitive.
As I said before, like it started out as a community fun thing. But as years went by, people said, well, listen, we can win it. I think we should be the team to beat, and great, so everybody tries to pick up somebody better, and before you know it, now we're into our fourth year, and what's happening is it's a lot stronger.
Yeah, I'd like to cut in just for a second and say, here's a perfect example of how good the ball's starting to become. This year, from the tournament last year, quite a few teams came out to watch the tournament. This year, Steven himself had been asked to play intermediate A ball, I believe, or senior A ball in Lance. So, and that's just from them seeing him last year. So, and then we lost a couple players from the tournament this year that were on our Beachfront Rockets team that went and played ball up in Lance, So I think that the tournament is giving some of the guys that normally wouldn't probably be playing in leagues, is giving them a chance to get some exposure. And, I think that's what the tournament has done.
Well, you keep saying guys now. Is there any plan to, especially if you get a crack in here for the women, is there any plans to bring any women's division in at any time in the future?
Not exactly into the tournament, because personally I don't feel that there's that strong a team around where you get to play some of the caliber of players are on the team. But there's a possibility there'll be an all-star game, feature attraction, just before the championship game with the girls from East Preston and hopefully the girls from Truro. And the girls from Truro have a very good team. And I like to say the girls from East Preston have a very, very strong team coached by Glenn Thomas.
Well, there might be some possibility. They wouldn't, of course, compete on the same level with the, although I might get in trouble for saying that, but you might be able to have parallel tournaments in a sense, have a male division and a female division.
Hopefully, we like to do that. Right, but like Kevin was just saying, right now we're just recognizing maybe two teams, which is East Preston and Truro. Like there's other teams now I've just noticed there. I was working just a couple of nights ago with a girls team that decided to come together all in 2 weeks and want to play ball. And like there's another team which is I think ran by Raymond Lindstrom,
I believe,
Woody Tolliver, which they also play ball, but they're really not into a league, right? But like I say now to the girls that I've seen working a couple of nights ago there, you just done something out of the blue, you decide to jump into baseball. 2 weeks ago, it's going to take time. Now maybe if you were to decide the beginning of next year to start something fresh, then yes, it's possible. As more teams that come, we can sit down and say to ourselves, well, maybe we should give the girls a shot. Maybe a 4-team tournament, the same way we started. And then as you look around, you can scout out, you can stretch out and say, well, they have a girls team in New Glasgow, Digby, why don't we invite them up and just see if we can form that community as we got.
Well, now, Kevin, you were commenting earlier. I just want to explore a point a little bit further with you about some of the significance behind the tournament, the fact that it gives exposure and so on. Is this one of the main positive points about the tournament, in your opinion, that it gives players a chance for exposure?
I believe so. I really do. Like I said, here you've had two players that have gone from the tournament on to play A ball. You have a couple players, like I said, in the Halifax All-Stars on Woody Tolliver's team, who, notably the Maxwell brothers, who have played a lot of intermediate A ball, So, and the guys like Denny Clark and that. And I think the tournament is helping a lot of the younger players coming up, because now a lot of the players before weren't playing in leagues. They're getting the feel of wanting to play in a league. we're thinking seriously about next year trying to put our own team in with a few functions this winter. Of trying to put our own team in and sponsor our team like the Beachville Rockets have, and get into the league.
One of the local leagues.
Right. As you see, Beachville Rockets have I heard a comment earlier in the July the 1st, I believe it was July the 1st, or the NATO Day, Halifax NATO Day. They had won the NATO Day tournament, and they have a lot of exposure, and they have a few good ball players on that team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the tournament is helping the other players get that kind of exposure that they need.
Right. What's the name of your team, the Halifax team? Is there several teams in the Halifax area? Or
Yes,
one?
there is. There are several teams. Our team, we haven't never changed the name since we started. Our team is called the Open Circle Mets, but we sponsor our own selves as a team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the.
Did you want to know teams from the area?
Yeah, the Halifax-based teams.
That's okay, like Africa.
Africa Aces.
We have Africa. We have
And Beachville Rockets, junior team.
junior team.
And Halifax All Stars.
Offman combined.
Mm-hmm.
Clinton Davis, who is coaching what you call the Renegades.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it from our area.
Right. How many, now in addition to the teams that you mentioned, I presume all of these teams will be participating in this year's tournament. How many teams are you expecting from outside of Halifax, Dartmouth?
About 3 or 4. We have a team from Sydney. We're hoping Glace Bay comes in this year.
We have also
Truro, and possibly Windsor. We approached Digby, but Digby at the time are into their playoffs around that time, and New Glasgow at the time are in the playoffs. And it's a lot of balls being played all over the Atlantic provinces at that time, right? Playoffs and provincial playdowns and stuff. And, that's another thing we have to worry about. We may even lose some players within the tournament because they play on other teams in competitive leagues to the provincial playdowns.
Mm-hmm. Well, we haven't mentioned yet just when the tournament is going to take place. Perhaps we should let our viewers know when will the tournament be held.
That would be held September 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
So it's possibly the 6th.
So it's a Labor Day weekend.
It will be the Labor Day weekend.
Right. Well, now, tell me a bit about how the tournament is organized. I presume you have the normal committees like rules committees and so on. Is that right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What committees do you have? And
well, we have a protest committee.
Yes.
That was made up of a couple of gentlemen that have played previously ball and know all the rules and that. Our tournament is under CABA rules.
Yes.
Let's see.
Is there any a deadline for entrance? For
Yes.
example, if there's a team out there that happens to hear and are just becoming aware of the tournament and they want to all of a sudden join the tournament, can they do so? Is there any deadline for teams entering the contest?
Yeah, the deadline for the tournament had to be in midnight as of August the 25th, and the draw would be made August the 29th at 3 p.m. at the Pavilion Building.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the only other team that could come in is unless it's a team that we haven't approached ourselves or forgot, and we would get together and go over it, and possibly they would get have the option of coming in, because that was our mistake. We hadn't got in contact with them. But other than that, they're, and that might have even happened, But other than that, all the rest of the teams that have been informed know as of the tournament. And what we've done this year, everything is strictly on paper.
Mm-hmm.
As in previous years, we've let a few things go by and this and that. And what happened, it starts getting out of hand. People start changing players, or this one's leaving, so they want to pick another player, and it was getting too far out of hand. So this year, everything was going to be done by the book. Boom.
So by the time this program is aired, it'll already be too late for new teams to come in. Does that mean, too, that not only the teams are fixed, but the players on those teams are fixed? In other words, they've got to give you a roster, say these will be our players, and so on? There's no new players? They can't bring in any last-minute aces in the holes?
Once your roster's in, that's it. It's the same thing as of the beginning of the tournament. The very first game you play, you got to put your whole roster in. All right, now say you're on our team, and you didn't make it to the first game. We would still have to present your name on the very first game, so that if you came tomorrow, your name was on the previous day, you're automatically on, and you're able to play within the tournament. And those are rules, because what happens, you could have a guy now come today, and he may only come Sunday for the championship game and expect to play, right? And he may not have even been on the roster. We can't allow that, and it's not allowed in any tournaments.
Right. So the tournament is fairly organized and fairly structured.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we haven't said where the tournament will take place. Where will people come who want to see the tournament?
That will take place on the Central Commons,
The Central Commons.
which you find is pretty well the only place to hold it in Halifax, because you're in an area where the diamonds are so close that you can't miss.
Mm-hmm.
If you decide to say, I want to go watch Sydney, well, they're playing on Diamond 3. Maybe Africville's on Diamond 2, which is a 2-minute walk to run over and see who's doing what, how the game is going, and get back to where you want to be. And it's not really stretched apart that far that you could run around all day in the Commons and see a lot of ball.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Friday night is the opening of the tournament, and that's at the Canada Games Diamond.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, all day Saturday from 9 to about 6. It's on the Halifax Central Commons, Diamonds 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yes.
And Sunday, I believe, is Diamonds 1 and 2 from 9 to 12. And from 12 to 6 o'clock, you have the consolation game, your championship game, and your all-star game between the two girls' team, hopefully. That would be Sunday. Now, due to any weather, if we lose a day, those games, the championship game will automatically be held on Monday. And the other game, because we have to make up them other games, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's in two divisions. We're in two divisions.
Right. Well, now, I understand that over and above the baseball itself, that there'll be some other activities as well, some social activities. Is that right?
Yes, we have two dances planned for Friday and Saturday evening.
So there'll be dances on both Friday and
Saturday
yeah.
evening, hopefully, yeah.
Saturday evening. Well, now, is there any charge to come to the games? Is
No.
No charges at all.
So all of that good baseball is free.
All
All you have
free.
to do is just show up
And we just hope that we can
help
get all
yourself.
the people in the community to come out and watch it, because it's good ball. It's
Support
really-
teams is, like I say, like, we just want to go back a little bit on you for a minute there. For instance, like Sydney, now, there's a lot of people right here in Halifax today that are from Sydney. It gives them a chance to say, hey, geez, my brother's coming up. Or my mother might even come up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like you stretch it a little bit like that, and they get to meet each other for that Labor Day weekend, and it's a big function, and quite a few people enjoy it.
And everybody has a funny thing about it. Everybody has their favorites, right? You know, like, and I guess to be honestly saying our team's the only team that we have trouble keeping a lot of fans, man. Like, they're always down on our team, you know. We're like, everybody's getting ready this year because we're the defending champions the last 2 years. So like this year, I like to say only that to John Tolliver's team that he's really picked a real good team this year, but we got a few surprises for them too.
Yeah. So you think they'd like to see you get knocked off?
Oh, for sure.
Everybody. It's hard sometimes when you're
The winner.
when you're the winner to keep the people loyal.
Yeah.
What about the social activities now? You mentioned that the baseball itself is free. Is there a charge for the dances? Do you need tickets or so on for the dances?
Right now, we haven't got tickets.
Yeah.
Like, right now, we're just here saying, more or less talking about how we should set it up. We're not really sure ourselves, just like other people involved, which we're going to have to talk to yet.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't say there's a dance now tonight to Friday night because we hopefully would like to have that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because there'd be a lot of people in town at the time, and you want to go somewhere to enjoy yourself, so why not hang with the baseball team and just, as a community, you know, get to know each other.
Yeah, whatever functions are going on, everybody knows. And if you're a spectator, you'll know because like everybody's all together. I'd like to also say that there's a barbecue stand going to be set up. Like we have some people that have a concession. Deborah Dixon has a concession stand set up every year, just in case some of the people during the day get tired or the kids want ice cream or pop or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All those things are all there, and it's just one good time. It's a good weekend. It's like this is the last party for the year because school's starting in 2 days after the tournament's over, and like it's the last time. Like some of the guys are going to university, and some of the guys getting ready to go back to work
of summer, right?
for summer. Yeah.
Right. How do you normally do it attendance-wise? Has the attendance in the last 4 or 5 years been pretty good? Are you
Really
happy
good.
with the crowds? Are you getting patronized? Or?
Really
Yeah,
good.
it's getting really good. The only thing that Stevie and I have been discussing, and I mentioned at the period ourselves, is that it's getting to the point now, late August, early September, and the Labor Day weekend is now. It's all of a sudden in the last few years, you know, if you notice yourself, the weather's changed, and it's getting to be a little colder at that time of year. And unfortunately, we've been trying to get the tournament on maybe a few weeks earlier in the season, but like I say, the intermediate A, B, and C and D leagues have the diamonds all booked up, and they're just not going to release them because they lose so many games during the year because of
Rain.
bad weather and have to make up games and stuff. So it's getting. I think what Halifax really needs is another central common somewhere nearby.
Yeah. I guess perhaps you have to be careful too. You were saying earlier about the competition with the other leagues. That not only is the question of the leagues going on in Halifax, but you have to be careful to stay away from.
Yeah.
Make it at a time that's convenient for leagues for the teams that are coming from outside of the area as well.
Yeah, because they have first priorities, right? Because they've been going for quite a while, independent league and senior A. And
hard just to jump up and say, okay, we're going to have a tournament and it's a weekend and then you're back home. We like to have something to work with, like more or less the Labor Day weekend where we have Monday to work with, which is an example. Last year was a very happy day to have because it rained Sunday and we turned it over to Monday, and that saved us. So, you got to look at all these things. A lot of people can say, well, why don't you have it in the middle of the summer? It's something you just can't do.
You know, and a lot of times too, as you're aware, Rasheed, that there's a lot of black functions in the month of August. You have your Wall of Fame, you have your the golf tournament, and you have your association. So you're almost running into coinciding with each other. And you got to be very careful that you don't have something this weekend and then here at the same weekend the golf tournament starts. That's the first of the month, right? First week in August. Right after that, then you have your baptisms and. So many things going on in that month.
It's probably better too because it's more or less at the end of the baseball season. All the players, I suppose, have got their whatever talent they have would be honed by that time. And
they're just about ready to say, I'm glad it's almost over because during the season, if you're playing the league, like Stevie and them guys, they play in the league. They're tired. They're saying, this guy is now saying, man, I'm tired of ball, man. It's a good thing this is the last tournament,
I play in Sunday morning also.
Yeah.
I'm playing the intermediate B division. And I'm just saying, I'm ready almost to hang them up.
Yeah.
So.
Very, very
tired. And I guess the moral of the story, as far as the weather's concerned, is just throw a raincoat in the car or bring a jacket or a sweater and get into the enthusiasm of the tournament. You'll probably become oblivious. But then again, too, maybe you might run into some Chinook or something. You might get a warm spell for your tournament. Anything's possible in Nova Scotia. Sometimes we get all 4 seasons in one day.
I won't believe it.
Well, Stephen and Kevin, I want to thank you for appearing on the program today. I want to wish you both the best of luck in your tournament. We'll watch with interest. It may very well be that maybe in some future year we can take the crew of Dartmouth Cable 10 on mobile and we can shoot some of the games, or at least the highlights of some of the games for our viewing audience.
That'd be very, very nice.
Best of luck with your tournament. That's our program for today. Thank you for watching. Join us next week.